Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Preshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 21, entitled Conversation between Manu and Kardama, texts 9 to 11. I just was told that I have dyslexia, so it's the first time that I see these verses in Sanskrit. So I'll read 9th and 10th verse, and then we can repeat 11th. Do you have something to read, to repeat, or no? Okay. Satam virajam arkabham sita padmotpalasrajam snigda nilalaka vrata vaktrabjam virajombaram. Translation. Kardama Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free from material contamination, in his eternal form, effulgent like the sun, wearing a garland of white lotuses and water lilies. The Lord was clad in spotless yellow silk, and his lotus face was fringed with slick dark locks of curly hair. Verse 10. Kiritinam kundalinam shankar chakra gadadharam shvetotpala kridanakam manah sparsha smitekshanam. Translation. Adorned with a crown and earrings, he held his characteristic conch, disc and mace in 3 of his hands, and a white lily in the 4th. He glanced about in a happy, smiling mood, whose sight captivates the hearts of all devotees. Vinyasta charanam bhojam amsha deshe garutmatah Drishtva ke vasitam vakshah Shriyam kaustuba kandaram. Vinyasta, having been placed. Charana ambojam, lotus feet. Amsa, deshe, on the shoulders. Garutmataha, of Garuda. Drishtva, having seen. Ke, in the air. Avistitam, standing. Vakshaha, on his chest. Shriyam, auspicious mark. Kaustubha, the Kaustuba gem. Kandaram, neck. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A golden streak on his chest, the famous Kaustuba gem, suspended from his neck. He stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda. Purport. The descriptions in verses 9 to 11 of the Lord in his transcendental eternal form are understood to be descriptions from the authoritative Vedic version. These descriptions are certainly not the imagination of Kardama Muni. The decorations of the Lord are beyond material conception, as admitted even by impersonalists like Shankaracharya. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has nothing to do with the material creation. The varieties of the Transcendental Lord, His body, His form, His dress, His instruction, His words are not manufactured by the material energy, but are all confirmed in the Vedic literature. By performance of yoga, Kardama Muni actually saw the Supreme Lord as He is. There was no point in seeing an imagined form of God after practicing yoga for 10,000 years. The perfection of yoga, therefore, does not terminate in voidness or impersonalism. On the contrary, the perfection of yoga is attained when one actually sees the personality of Godhead in His eternal form. The process of Krishna consciousness is to deliver the form of Krishna directly. The form of Krishna is described in the authoritative Vedic literature Brahma Samhita. His abode is made of Chintamani stone, and the Lord plays there as a cowherd boy and is served by many thousands of gopis. These descriptions are authoritative, and a Krishna-conscious person takes them directly, acts on them, preaches them, and practices devotional service as enjoined in the authoritative scriptures. Hare Krishna. So there are these three verses, 9 to 11, are descriptions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He appeared before in front of Kardama Muni. And it is significant that He appeared apparently in the form He meditated upon, because it is described that the Lord is so merciful that He appears in the form we meditate upon. Tvam bhakti-yoga paribhavita hritsaroja aseshu tikshita pato nananata pumsam yat yadiyata urgaya vibhavayanti tatatva puh pranasi satanugrahaya. So Krishna is so merciful that He appears in the form we meditate upon. So it's very essential in our spiritual path that we know how the Lord looks like. Because we cannot just fabricate with our brain the form of the Lord. As explained here by Srila Prabhupada in his purport. And sometimes we consider what we are in the spiritual world, isn't it? But it's not widely known that we can be whatever we want. Because spiritual world is free. It's freedom, complete freedom. And there is descriptions in our scriptures how we can assume any form we like. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there are descriptions how Gopakumar waited in front of Vaikuntha, and there came a great procession, and there was Gopakumar thought that this is Lord Vishnu himself, and he paid obeisance, and this devotee who appeared like Lord Vishnu was very disturbed. please don't offer me obeisance, I'm just a servant. And he came with great entourage. But when he entered Vaikuntha, he transformed as a beggar. And we can see also from our acharyas, they're in male form, but majority of them are as gopis in Vrindavan, and they have also other forms. And it is described by Baladev Vidyabhushan in his commentary to Vedanta Sutra, that the soul can assume any form he likes, unlimited forms. This is the nature of spirit, to be completely free, to be free. So sometimes devotees are afraid, what if I'm a tree in the spiritual world? Yes, but you are a tree if you would like to serve Krishna in this way. And it is also said that Uddhava, who wants to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan, he also is. One of his form is a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So, sadhya, we should know this. Sadhya, which means the ultimate perfection, depends on sadhana. And Krishna also confirms this. Ye yata mam prapadyamte tam stateva pachamaham. Mama vartmanu vartante manushyah varta sarvashaha. That in whatever we approach Krishna, he responds accordingly. So, as this verse in the beginning I quoted from 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he also explains that he reveals himself in the way the devotee meditates upon him. And he establishes such a relationship with him, with the devotee, in whatever way devotee in his heart is longing for certain relationship. Yeah, so our devotional service shouldn't be superficial, just to finish my rounds and fulfill my quota of reading and attending programs and festivals, but our heart is somewhere else, or we have no idea or no deep desire for the Lord, or to develop certain relationship with the Lord. Therefore, it is said that in Ragavartmika Chandrika that tatat bhavati madhurya shruta direta pikshati natra shastrim na yuktim cha tat lobopati lakshanam. That loba, this greed, is the entrance to raga bhakti. Raga bhakti. And raga means deep attachment. Raga means deep attachment. And without deep attachment, no one can develop personal relationship with the Lord. Or in fact, any relationship really with the Lord. But to get to Raga Bhakti, and of course also Radha Bhakti, we first have to become fixed in devotional service. Without absorption in devotional service, there is no taste. No one can taste anything if he is not absorbed. I remember you mentioned some of your experiences from your life when you were playing as a goalkeeper in in volleyball. What was it? Volleyball, handball. Oh yes, handball. Yes. Yes, of course, volleyball doesn't have goalkeepers. Yes, handball. Yes. And you were so absorbed in the game that you didn't notice that your wrist was broken. Finger. Your finger was broken. Yes. So, if our consciousness is not present at what we are doing, or what is going on with our body, we don't experience anything. I believe you all have this experience. If you are in a hurry or anxiety and you eat very hastily, you don't. At the end, you realize that you didn't taste anything. You have this experience. Sometimes happened like this. So, in order to taste anything, we have to be absorbed. We have to be present. We have to be conscious of what we are doing. And therefore, to progress spiritually, it's not enough just to ritualistically perform our sadhana, just to sit in class regularly, to chant our rounds. But we should, therefore these books are here to develop deep desire, deep craving for Krishna. Yes. And Bhagavatam is all about Krishna. Although we see here is description of Lord Narayan. But Jiva Goswami explains in Tattva Sandarbha that whole Bhagavatam is just about Krishna. Krishna from Vrindavan. And all these descriptions, which are not about Krishna directly, are meant just for us to understand Krishna, who he really is. Because if we just read about Krishna and his pastimes, we would misunderstand his position. And we would have material concept of Krishna. Therefore, all 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are preparation of our consciousness to understand Krishna in proper way, and his pastimes. Otherwise, we would just take Krishna's pastimes as some naughty boy playing with the wives of other people. And it would be authorized for us to act in the similar way. Yes. Therefore, first 9 cantos are the gateway to the 10th canto, and is explained by Srila Prabhupada. The only he or she who studies very carefully first 9 cantos can understand and enter the mystery of the 10th. Yes. So it's so important that we understand this, and because we are in Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, it's our Sampradaya to meditate upon Krishna. And Prabhupada here confirms it. He says, the process of Krishna consciousness is to deliver the form of Krishna directly. So, this is our process. Our process is not meditating on other forms of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya accepted different points from different sampradayas. And from Brahma Sampradaya, he accepted complete dedication to Krishna. One of 2. He accepted 2 from every Sampradaya, and from Brahma Sampradaya he accepted this one. to be completely devoted to Krishna. And it is explained by Narottam Das Thakur how we should be completely fixed on the form of Krishna. He gives an example in his in Prema Bhakti Chandrika. And this example of Hanuman. How Hanuman is completely fixed on Lord Ram. And Hanuman says, yes, I know that my Lord Ram and the form of Narayan is the same, one and same personality. But still, I am completely devoted only to my Lord Ram. And there is a story how Lord Krishna instructed Garuda to fetch Hanuman and to bring him to Dwaraka. And Garuda really went to Hanuman, and he said to Hanuman, Hanuman, Lord Krishna is calling you. Please come immediately to Dwaraka. And he said, oh, it's very nice that Krishna is calling me, but I don't have time. I'm absorbed in worshipping Lord Ram. And then Garuda was offended. How can you deny Lord's request? If he's calling you, you must go. And he wanted to drag him by force. But Hanuman just with his tail kicked away Garuda, that he flew, I don't know how thousands of yojanas away. And then he came to Lord Krishna into Dwaraka, and he said, I couldn't bring Hanuman, he's absorbed in worshipping Lord Ram. And then Krishna said, okay, then go again to Hanuman and say that Lord Ram is calling him. And he flew again to Hanuman and said, Hanuman, come, Lord Ram is calling you. And then Hanuman jumped so forcefully that Garuda again flew away. And then Lord Krishna said to Rukmini and to Balaram to change quickly to Sita and Lakshman. And they, just at the moment they transformed to Ram, Lakshman and Sita, Hanuman came there and offered his prayers and obeisance to Lord Ram, to Krishna, who appeared before him as Lord Ram. So our attitude towards Krishna should be like this, like Hanuman's fidelity to Lord Ram. Yes. And since Anarpitam Charinchirat, we know that Lord Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya just to give us this highest form of love to Radha and Krishna. Our meditation should be directed to Radha and Krishna. To Radha and Krishna. And we should crave deeply in our heart to develop relationship with them, to be servant of Radha and Krishna. Yes. And therefore, hearing is so important. Without proper hearing and sufficient hearing, we can never develop this desire. Or if we do have some idea, our desire is superficial, is not deep very much. And without deep craving, deep attachment to this, we can never achieve bhava. So by absorption, as I said in the beginning, we can taste our food if we are absorbed in what we are eating. So through absorption, through through fixed devotional service, that means through nishta bhakti, we can taste, we can achieve ruchi. Without nishta, there is no ruchi. And therefore it is struggle. It is said that devotional service is struggle. Although it is, as we know from Krishna personally says, it's susukam kartu avyayam. So it should be very tasteful. It should bring us great enjoyment, actually. And he also says in the 10th chapter, Machita madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam katayantarchamam nityantushyanti charamanticha, that devotees experience great pleasure and bliss discussing about his pastimes, about Lord's pastimes. So we should experience great bliss. But if we are not fixed in devotional service, it's austerity for us to perform devotional service. So, therefore, to be absorbed is the prerequisite to taste anything, or at least to taste deeply something. Yes, and only through taste we become attached. Why people are attached to chocolate or eating meat? Because they consider it's tasteful. Yes, and we are attached to prasadam because it's tasteful. If it wouldn't be tasteful, we wouldn't be attached. If someone would come with some tasteless prasadam, and we would be already had enough of prasadam, we would say, no, thank you. But even if we would have enough prasadam and someone would come with, I don't know, gulab jamun, and we are fans of gulab jamun, we said, yes, I have the nut, but I will sacrifice myself for this gulab jamun because we have taste. Yes. So only with taste comes a deep attachment. That means asakti. And without asakti there is no bhava. We cannot experience any spiritual emotion if we are not attached to Krishna. Yes. So Srila Prabhupada came to the West, and of course he preached all over the world, to give us the process how to taste the sweetness of devotional service and how to become so attached to Krishna that we develop love for him, deep emotions for him, from which deep real love develops. From deep emotion, from bhava, develops real love, genuine love for Krishna. Okay, I'll stop here. Do you have any questions or comments? Harinamananda Prabhu, you are good at questions.
I found it interesting that the spirit soul can take any form, but we have a constitutional position. So, where is this information found?
I said it's from Baladevi Vidyabhushan in his commentary to Vedanta Sutra, and we can see also examples in our acharyas and also from our scriptures like Brihad Bhagavata-dharma. So, and our constitutional position as explained by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. So our original position is to be Krishna's servant. And we originally, in perfect position, we want to serve Krishna in whatever capacity we have. So if it takes to change form for the Lord's sake, not for our enjoyment, we can even change forms. And we can see it's not directly mentioned, but the example is clear from the prayers of personified Vedas at the end of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. They prayed to be gopis in their next appearance. And so they became gopis in their next appearance. And the sages in, what was this forest? Naimisharanya also? Dandakaranya, yes, Dandakaranya. In Ram's Leela, they also had this desire to serve Lord Krishna in female forms. And so they became, so they have, we have two different sets of, or three different sets of gopis, sadhana siddha gopis, as explained by our acharyas, by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. One are Rishichari gopis, those who were sages from Dandakaranya. Then are Shrutichari gopis, who became gopis and were Shrutis, the personified Vedas in previous life. And we have other sadhana siddha gopis, ordinary so-called gopis in Vrindavan. So, yes, therefore Prabhupada gave us this sadhana bhakti to develop this desire. Because without desire, someone would say, if Christian become, some saintly Christian become perfect, he can become a gopi. But no, because this is not his desire, this is not his meditation, this is not what he wanted, he would want. And Krishna doesn't force anything on us. Yes. So the perfection is not forced on us. It's we attain something with our deep deep desire. Yes. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay. Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Bol. Please accept my